Joining me now from Fairfax, Virginia, senior correspondent with Just the News and Daily Ledger contributor, Nicholas Ballasy. Nick, Attorney General William Barr has told his troops, hey, listen, we need to look out for governors and for mayors who are trampling upon the liberty, the constitutional rights, the Bill of Rights that belong to the American people.
That's right. He sent a memo to prosecutors to be on the lookout for local ordinances or state laws or orders and directives that could be going too far and trampling on individual constitutional rights. Barr went as far to say in his memo that the Constitution is not suspended during times of crisis, like a pandemic with COVID-19, which we're experiencing now. So I think this sets the stage, Graham, for a legal debate that we haven't seen, an unprecedented legal debate. How far do constitutional rights go in times of a pandemic and an emergency like this? And what is the next stage in terms of a sort of debate around where this could lead and what the standard is to meet when local ordinances are being considered during emergencies and pandemics?
I wish a guy who lived in your state, the state you reside in right now, who lived in your state many, many years ago, a couple centuries ago, a little bit more. His name is George Mason. I wish that George Mason, who is one of the fathers of the Bill of Rights, was here to weigh in on this one and give a little guidance to some of these mayors and some of these governors who are trampling upon, for example, the First Amendment in limiting the number of people who can gather in a single place. Last I checked, that is protected in Amendment number 1. So good for the Attorney General here. Now, the Congress, I'm sorry, but they're a bunch of cowards. And Nancy Pelosi is hiding in Napa somewhere because she can. And she's afraid to go back to Washington, D.C. and do her job. And she's using the doctor, the congressional doctor, is doctor's orders for her not to go back to Washington, D.C. May I point out that this doctor for Congress in the House of Representatives, he's an Obama doctor. Just for the record, he's an Obama doctor.
Well, House Speaker Pelosi and the House Majority Leader are citing the Capitol Physician's recommendation not to bring Congress back May 4th as originally planned. We'll see what the Senate does, but the House, as it stands now, will not be coming back. However, there are GOP congressional leaders who want to see Congress come back and get to work on what the next stage could be in terms of a fourth coronavirus package. But as it stands right now, it doesn't look like they're going to be coming back. And Graham, there's an issue that is related to this in terms of remote voting. Congress has to meet in person to vote.
Right.
They haven't changed the rules to allow for remote voting or remote committee hearings, business to be conducted. So as long as that stays the case, Congress either has to come back or they have to do some sort of unanimous consent or voice vote, which only involves, a small group of lawmakers, not the full chamber.
I don't care how advanced we are, remote voting is a really bad idea. You never know who AOC is giving access to for her vote on something like this. Just like vote by mail, you never know who's filling out that form. Real quick, Nick, I only got a couple seconds left here, but Pelosi, when she does come back to Washington, D.C., is talking about more profligate spending.
The package for the fourth phase could be as high as $1 trillion. House Democrats are talking about infrastructure upgrades, rent assistance, possible direct payments, more stimulus payments like we saw in the last package, and other enhancements in terms of vote by mail. That's another part of the package.
There you go. And our national debt is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 trillion. Mark my words, by the end of this year, our national debt is going to be somewhere around $30 trillion. That's a lot of money. Nicholas, thank you. Coming up next, Tara Reid in her own words about the Joe Biden sexual assault.